There we are. We are live. Hi, how are you? Happy Monday. This is Linda Downey, and I am here to talk to you a bit about patterns of looping thoughts and also depleting emotions, patterns of depleting emotions. And I want to talk today about kind of a soul perspective on that. We're always talking about nervous system. We're always talking about our beliefs and our stories and our mindset. This is a soul perspective. So I hope it gives you some brand new information to think about. So as you're joining, please say hello. Again, this is Linda Downey, and I'm a transformational health and spiritual coach. And tonight's conversation will be from a spiritual perspective. So I would love if you have any comments or questions, please pop them in and I'll answer them if I see them. And this is playing in multiple places. So if I don't see them, I will go back and find where your comments are and I'll make sure that I answer. But patterns of worry, anxiety, either in how you think or patterns of those kinds of emotions of sadness or depression or doubting and worry and how you feel. Both of those, thinking and feeling, can come in patterns that I've had clients that I've worked with that'll be like, I've had these for 50 years, or I don't really know why I can't go to sleep at night and I'm always worried, because there's really nothing terrible going on in my life. There's really nothing that I'm that need to worry about, but yet I can't stop. I can't seem to shut it off. Or I just don't feel happy. You know, my life is fine. Everything is okay, and all the things that you would look at, and yet I'm not happy. So here's what I want you to think about. First, we have multiple parts that make us up, right? We have our physical body. We have our emotional body, which is where our emotions reside. And, you know, that's the place for our emotions. We have our mental body, which is our thoughts. And we have our spiritual body, which is our connection to, you know, our soul and our connection to our inner self. So all of those bodies make up who we are. And you're very familiar with your physical body. So I'm going to give the physical body as an example to give you a frame of reference that I think will make a difference. So, you know, in your physical body, you might have an issue of, let's say, inflammation. So inflammation is a thing that can settle into our physical bodies, and it can cause, you know, like systemic issues or issues in certain areas, like inflammation in your joints might give you arthritis. Inflammation, I don't know, in your digestive system would cause problems with your digestive system, right? So inflammation is an issue, and I'm going to actually call it a pattern that can be present in your physical body. Okay, so that, I think we can all kind of picture that, right? Inflammation is a pattern or an issue that is present in your physical body. Now, if you're just joining, you maybe didn't hear me a moment ago, but I said we actually have our physical body, we have our emotional body, we have our mental body, and we have our spiritual body. So all of that makes up who we are. So just like our physical body can have the pattern or the issue of inflammation, you can have a pattern in your mental or your emotional body. So it would be a pattern or an issue that is actually stuck in that part of you, your mental body or your emotional body. Okay, just like inflammation can get stuck in you. So now let's look at that. Let's look at the mental body. So let's say you're a person who has thoughts all the time, like you can't go to sleep, you lay in bed and you just have your thoughts go round and round and round, and you're looking, it's 2:00 and it's 3:00 and you still can't shut your brain off. Obviously, what you think is going to affect how you feel. So if you're thinking thoughts and they're making you upset, hi, Charm. So I love when people say hello, and my girl Charm always hops on for these conversations, and she just said hello to me. So nice to see you, Charm. And anybody else, please say hello and where you're listening from. So what was I saying? So you can't go to sleep, you have these thoughts, and obviously your thoughts affect how you feel. And when you're feeling depressed and sad and anxious, that affects what you think. So they do affect each other. It's not like they're completely separate bodies, parts of you, but I'm going to separate them because we do have each of those parts. So in your mental body, let's say, you hold a pattern of self-doubt. I'm just picking that out of the, hi, Gail. Thank you for listening, Gail in Atlanta. Let's just say you hold a pattern of self-doubt. So if you're coming on now, I gave you the example of having inflammation in your physical body. So inflammation is something that can be present in our physical body, and I'm going to call it a pattern just to keep the terminology the same. So we have a pattern of inflammation, and you might always be battling the inflammation or figuring out how to get inflammation out of your body, right? So now I'm saying a pattern of, for example, self-doubt, and self-doubt in your mental body. Okay, now, see, we've got that. In our beingness, we have energy centers, and each of the energy centers, if you've never heard that before, I did a workshop last month on the energy centers. I talk about it a lot. Each of the energy centers is responsible for different parts of our physiology and different parts of our life. So the first energy center is all about our connection to society. It's about the tribe. It's about us feeling grounded and safe in our families, like that. The second energy center going up is all about money, sexuality, right? So in your body, it's the area of your body where we are connected to reproduction and growing a baby, and also if you have issues in your GI system, the lower GI, that's the part of the body there. So there is some overlap between each of the energy centers, okay? But each one has its physiology and its life area that the energy needs to move through and do its job in order for those things in your body and in your life to work, okay? So the third energy center is all about your self-esteem, your personal goals, like what do you want to attain in your life. It's also where your adrenals are in your physical body. So your adrenals are responsible for fight or flight. They kick in when you're feeling competitive or aggressive, right? So that's when the adrenals, like your cortisol goes up and you're ready for a fight. But in your life, it's your self-esteem, your life goals, things like that, your personal goals. The fourth center is all about relationships, but really your relationship to yourself first, your relationship to self, because it's where your heart is. It also is all about your immune system in the physical body, but in your life, your relationship to yourself, and then therefore your relationships with others, because it is where your heart is. Your next energy center is all about your communication, how you express yourself. Do you feel free to speak up? Do you communicate well with your needs, anything like that? And in your physical body, it's your thyroid and this area here. Okay, the next energy is going up, next energy center, and I'm going to pull it back into the patterns in a minute. I just want to go through these so you have an understanding if this is new to you. The next energy center is the sixth center of your body, and that's where your intuition is, your vision for your life, how you see your life unfolding, and then if you're getting intuitive guidance about that, it's also like right here in the center of your brain. So it's frontal lobe problem solving, like that. It is any sort of like problem solving, intellectual vision for your life, anything like that. The next one up is really the top of the head, and that's your personal freedom. As we move up, how free do you feel in your life? And also that's where like the pineal gland, and that's where going down your nervous system. So starting in the brain and going all the way down your nervous system. If your nervous system knows how to relax, knows how to turn off when the adrenals are kicking on, does your nervous system know how to turn off? And then the last center, the eighth center, is at the top, and that's really your true common sense. So not different than problem solving and wisdom here, but like common sense and really connecting to God. Okay. So those are the energy centers. So now let's go back to your mental body and your issue of always having worrisome, anxious thoughts. If there's a pattern in your mental body, just like inflammation is a pattern in your physical body, you have a pattern of self-doubt, let's just say, in your mental body, you're going to have thoughts like, can I really do this? Well, let's apply it to a certain energy center. So if you have, let's see, you're holding it or it's disrupting the energy in the energy center of, let's just say, hold it, I wrote this down. Let's say your third energy center. Remember, that is the one where your self-esteem is, your personal goals. So let's just say you have a personal goal of starting a business, or a personal goal of writing a book, or a personal goal maybe in the area of fitness, right? So you have this personal goal and it's where your self-esteem is, but you have this pattern of self-doubt in your mental body. It's going to affect one of those energy centers. If it affects that third energy center, then what you're always going to say to yourself is, can I really do this? I need to do more research. What do I have to know before I can do that? Like constantly self-doubting yourself and your ability to create the goal that you have for yourself, right? So it's the energy center of goals and personal goals and self-esteem, and it's an issue in your mental body. Now let's just flip that. Let's say it's an issue in your emotional body, not your mental body. And let's just say it's affecting your fourth center. So your fourth center is relationships, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others, like really connecting. And you have a pattern of self-doubt. It's the same pattern, it's self-doubt, but now it's in your emotional body, not your mental body. So you're going to feel, right? Emotional body is our feelings. You're going to feel disconnected. You're going to feel unsure, like, do they love me? Do they really love me? Do I love them? So I'm saying words like I'm thinking it because it will affect how you think, but it's more of a feeling, like this feeling in my body where I don't know if he really loves me. I don't know if I really love him or her. I don't know. I hold myself back from truly connecting. It's a pattern of doubt in your emotional body affecting relationships. The first example that I gave was a pattern of doubt in your mental body, how you think, challenging your goals. So it shows up very differently in life, right? One person may do really great in relationships, but they're always doubting their goals. They're always wishing they could do, hey, Michelle, they're always wishing they could do, the big personal goal that they have for themselves, but they spend so much time in doubt, they don't move forward. Or the other person may do great with personal goals, may be accomplishing all kinds of things, but never truly connecting with the people in their lives, or never really sure of giving and receiving love. It's both of those are patterns of self-doubt. One is showing up in our mental body and how we think. So it's like, I need to do more research. I don't think I'm ready yet. What else do I need to learn? Like always doubting. It's a pattern of self-doubt, right? So always doubting what's the next thing to do. The other one is always doubting the feeling of connecting and the ability to commit and to be related. Okay, so that's just two examples, but what I wanted you to know, the takeaway from this conversation is A lot of the times we do all of the things in the physical body, right? So again, remember, especially if you're just hopping on, we have a physical body, a mental body, an emotional body, and a spiritual body. And you can have issues, you can have stuck energy or issues or patterns in any one of those bodies. The example that I gave was in the physical body having a pattern of inflammation, because everybody can get that, right? So that's a physical body issue of inflammation. But you can have a mental body pattern or issue of, the example I gave was self-doubt. So if you're just hopping on, just because I can see the numbers going up, new people are hopping on. That's why I'm kind of recapping. You can go back and listen, but you can have a pattern of self-doubt that's showing up in your mental body, which means your thoughts. You never can really rein your thoughts in and actually get them to calm down. It's a pattern. And you're doubting yourself. It could be in any of the energy centers, wherever that energy is out of balance or messed up, that's where these patterns are going to affect. So the example that I gave was the energy center, the third one, which is your personal goals and your self-esteem. So you're always going to doubt yourself and not really move forward and attain what you want to attain. All right. And in the emotional body, pattern of self-doubt in your emotional body. And again, what you think affects your emotions, and your emotions do affect what you think. But where the pattern resides is what I'm talking about. So the pattern resides in your emotional body, a pattern of self-doubt in your emotions. And let's just say it's going to affect your fourth energy center, which is your ability to be related. And it starts with self-love, right? At the energy center, the fourth energy center is all about self-love as well as giving and receiving love to others. So if you have a pattern of doubt there, you're never really sure, do they really love me? Do I really love them? Are we really connected? It might show up as an inability to commit, like a commitment phobe, but somebody who has no self-doubt in their personal goals, right? So the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you is because when we do all the work just in our physical body, what do I need to do for my nervous system? Okay, I'm working on nervous system regulation, and I'm working on sleep patterns, and, I'm working on even how I think, my mindset, and how I relate to my past, right? All of that. But a whole nother place to look, a whole nother place, which is really a soul perspective, because these patterns are soul derived patterns. It's not like inflammation in your body. The inflammation comes from the food that you eat or toxins that you're exposed to or whatever it is. For these patterns, it comes from a misalignment with your soul that then causes patterns in these parts of your self, these parts of your being, which is your emotional body or your mental body. That's where these patterns show up, but it's in a misalignment with your soul that does that. So it's a tremendous place to work. I love doing that kind of work with my clients because it's such an aha place. And a lot of times, the work in our physical body is great and that's all we need. But if that's not the case for you, if you're noticing, I've used all these tools and I've made progress, but why do I not connect? Why do I still feel unsure of myself? There's a pattern probably in those other aspects of you that needs to be cleared. The good news is you can clear it. You can totally do that. So that's the good news. Okay. So I would love if that triggered anything for you or it makes sense in some way. I would love to know. Please leave your comments and what your life experience is. And, if you've ever put that all together, like these are how my energy centers work. These are all the aspects of my being. And if I really want life to go how I would love for it to go and how I thought it was going to go, then I need to address all aspects of my being and what might be there. Okay? So thanks so much. I'm so glad that you listened in. I'm going to look forward to your comments or questions, anything that you have about that. If that's totally new for you, if you're like, What do you mean by emotional body or mental body? Or what do you mean by soul patterns that are affecting my life experience? Please put them in, and I'm happy to answer them. Okay? All right. I will see you over a cup of coffee, probably tomorrow morning. And you're welcome, Gail. Thanks for listening in. And later on this week, actually, I know on Friday, I have a partner in crime or a partner in conversation planned. We're going to talk about going from grief to joy, and how do you make that transition from living your life in grief into living your life into joy. So that's already scheduled for Friday, this kind of conversation. So I hope to see you there or over a cup of coffee some mornings this week. Okay? Have a great rest of your night. See you soon.